There we go.
All
Okay.
right. Well, welcome everybody to our May gathering for the Carson City FanFest 2025 question and answer. Today, your hosts will be Dee and Lori with some updates regarding what's going on and what's to come. So I'm going to go ahead and you want to start, Dee, or you want to start, Lori? Which one of you wants to begin?
Uh, D.
Okay. I got elected, I guess.
Alphabetical.
Pardon me?
Alphabetical order.
Oh, alphabetical order.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, and it would be very helpful if everybody muted their microphone too,
Mhm.
just so you don't have to worry about noisy distractions.
Oh, okay. And so yes, so first off, I want to check and see whether everybody received the May newsletter. Yes, nodding. You did get it. Good. Ellen, did you get the newsletter?
Well, just the announcing the Zoom, I got that, but I haven't. It wasn't a newsletter.
When did you send it?
When did I get it?
When did you send it?
Yesterday, so it was an attachment, Jeannie.
Okay.
So if you, it was all in the same. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll double check it.
Because I sent it a while ago, but not everybody got it. So
yeah, we're still working out email addresses to make sure that we have correct addresses.
Okay.
But Laura or Ginger, is there a way to post that PDF on the site so that people could maybe?
Yes, I was trying to figure out where the best place is. Would it be best to like maybe have a download link next to where the Zoom link is, like for each month? Because I have, each month there with that.
Yeah, we have April and May, and we'll have June, July, and August. So.
I could also put it on, and I think I can put it in the Facebook page, or at least put a link to it in the Facebook page. I'll do that too.
Okay.
I don't know
Just
which
so
way
we
people
can-
are getting their information, so.
Right, because there's a lot of information in there about, hotels and, places to go, things to do, things to see if you're coming in before or after. We want to give you as much information as possible and get your feedback for what you want. This is a fan fest. This is about the fans and what you want to do. You're, coming on vacation or whatever, or seeing family. And we want to accommodate all those, that wish list item as much as we can, but we can't do it unless we know what it is you want to do. So for one of the reasons we'll be sending out kind of a interest in participating in certain events so we can judge how to schedule that. We'd like to come out with or we will be coming out in June with a tentative schedule so that you can plan, your activities around that. But that way we need to have feedback from you to know what you want to do, what's important, so we can schedule things like we're going to do this on Friday, this on Saturday, this on Sunday, this on Monday, whatever, something on Thursday. If there's enough people coming in, we can make that happen, but we need to know. So that's where it's important for us to hear from you as to what you want to do and your interest in different activities. So all I ask is that when you do see in the newsletter, there's links to different things. My email address is there, Lori's is there, so that you can get a hold of one or both of us and let us know, your fondest desire. We'll try to make it happen, but we can't do it if we don't know. Ellen.
I suggest instead of putting it on the Zoom page, put it on the information page, because people wouldn't necessarily look for that sort of thing on the Zoom page. The PDF file,
for the
newsletter.
Okay.
The newsletter, yeah.
Maybe I'll put it both places just to cover all my bases, but thank you, Ellen. That's a good suggestion. I'll do that.
Anyone else? No? Okay. The items for the auction are coming in, trickling in, and we're getting that. And the catalog will be ready. We'll keep updating the catalog as we get things. If you want to send things, please email me first. I can give you my address if you want to mail it, or if you're going to be bringing it with you. I would like, if you're going to be bringing it, if you could take a picture of the item so that I can include that in the catalog. We want to have that. I'll have the first issue of the catalog be attached or come with the next newsletter so that you can get an idea of what kinds of things will be at the auction. The auction will be actually held on Saturday night's banquet. but we'll have the items available not only via the catalog, but on display for Friday and Saturday, so that you can take a look at anything that's there. If you have things that you want to contribute, please let us know so that we can get that in there. Let's see. Okay, let me think about that. Let me think about something in the back of my mind, and I'm going to turn it over to Lori about the participation. I just talked about them letting us know what they want. Did you have something you wanted to say about that, or?
I know Andy was holding up. I'm gonna let
Yeah,
Andy.
I just wanted to jump in quickly. If people are interested in having an opportunity to get a genuine, honest to goodness, authentic souvenir from the initial Bonanza Days celebration, which was held in 1964, there's the official Bonanza Days button, which has the 4 cartwheels depicted, and it might be a fun thing to bid on if anybody is interested.
Yes,
I like it.
I like it.
Could be
That
yours.
would be in there. I would
Could
like
be yours.
that. Will you send that?
Yes, that's
Okay.
a little teaser here. It's my intention to donate it. Sure.
Sure, terrific.
Have to be
It'll be
present to
easy to
bid
put in
on
your
it.
There will be a lot of items from the past conventions from '99. That was the first fan convention. Through 2014, 13, I can't remember, 11, 12, 13. It was like every few years. Anyway, we have past issues, past things for those that like to collect stuff. So that's going to be great. So you get an idea of what is in the, what's going to be in the auction. You can decide what you want to bid on or whatever it is. Charity auction, all proceeds will go to PanCan, which is the Pancreatic Action Network, Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. Because of Michael and Pruno both had pancreatic cancer. Any questions at this point? Anything that you want to know that we haven't covered? We've talked about, as I say, hotels, transportation, things to do in Carson City, places to visit in the vicinity. Choices will have to be made. There's a lot to do here. So that's why we do need to know what you're interested in so that we can put together. Of course, it's fluid, and if you have access to a car or you just want to go someplace, we can make that happen, generally speaking. And so, but we can't do it if we don't know about it. So we need to hear from you.
I've got 2 questions. In looking on the website, I was seeing that they were pricing for the train trips, either one way or round trip. And what if it's one way? How do you get back?
Get you back if you do it.
Some way.
That's what we
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Okay. Now if it's round trip, is it like they let you stay for a little bit and then you have to catch your train back after a couple of hours or something like that?
Usually
And
like
one way
the
just gives you plenty of time?
About
Yeah.
3 hours, I think you've got. If you go up on the morning train, it's like the return train is like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. Okay. The second question is there going to be you mentioned last month, maybe seeing is it the Bonanza Museum in Virginia City? I think Stephen might be part of that. I'm not sure. And is that still going to be available, or one of the activities on Saturday in Virginia City was to see some of the history of the Bonanza area in Virginia City and all that? Am I getting that right?
I
Stephen,
think that was the Lake Tahoe. It might have been Incline Village, the museum there. There's a little, and they go in and they've got a lot of the memorabilia there. I believe Chuck donated things there.
Okay.
Some of the
Okay.
paintings
All right.
that Nancy Green made.
Yeah.
She was quite the artist, and she's got things there. So yeah, that would be for those that want to do. We're going to be doing obviously through Tahoe, and well, not obviously, but we'll have the route where we're going, Sand Harbor, up to Incline Village, stops that we can make along the way and time to visit, because it's all going to be just us. It's not a tour director. It's not a, a bus.
Mhm.
You have to be here in 10 minutes to
Okay.
get on the bus. It'll all be very fluid and loose. But we'll try to hit every spot that people want to go to, Spooner Lake, different things while we're up there. And
Mhm.
that's why we need to know what it is that you want to see, so that we can kind of plan a route and figure out our logistics.
And what,
So that would be like a driving tour.
Yeah.
We all in
Stopping,
cars and
dropping off,
and stopping certain places. Okay.
photo opportunity.
so what Dee's saying is next month it'll be like a Google form, and it'll probably have, like certain things like the train ride to Virginia City, the
Mhm.
Bowers Mansion, some stuff that we know, even Genoa. But if there's something that we miss, I'll leave a spot that if you want to put something in, because if there's a lot of interest on different things, but say you want to do the train trip and we're only doing that one day and you really want to do something else, but maybe you don't want to do the train trip and you're doing something that somebody else wants to do on Sunday, then, we might be able to double up some stuff if it looks like there's a lot of interest in different things. But you don't have to be date specific at this point. We're more just trying to figure out where as I told them, the mall corner stores, like things like the
Anchor
MS
stores,
Dixie
right.
ride, or certain things where we know we have to have reservations for, kind of thing,
Yeah.
because they do
Right.
fill up and things like that. So it's more to just find out where the interest is lying and make sure there is interest, because maybe there isn't any interest in, say, the MS Dixie, and so we're not going to schedule that if we could utilize that time somewhere else that people would rather go. Because we know a lot of you have been to Tahoe a couple of times, or maybe, even just once or whatever, but so there might be something, like, I've never been to the Bowers Mansion, and I've been to Tahoe for the last 20 years. So that's high on my, that's high on my list because I've never been there.
Right.
So
And then
obviously I'll probably be taking a car full of people to that, whatever date we decide that's going to be. So, but
And
that's the
as a-
thing, is it might be some people want to do that, but don't necessarily have a vehicle. So, and then we can sort of figure out how to make sure people get where they need to go. So,
Yeah.
And then I want to have as a courtesy, let the Bowers Mansion people know, hey, we're going to be coming, either as a whole group or in, different cars, different times, so that they can, are aware of that. The other thing is that we also don't want to be the whole group, or we could be, but we're not going to be sheep on a field, that are all going to march across this way. If there's people that want to go over here and there, we're going to try and accommodate all of that and schedule that and hook you up with, other people who have like interests to you, so that you can, again, it's fans, meeting fans and sharing stories and, sharing their love for Bonanza. And so we can do that in small groups and big groups, whatever, but we want to make it as special for you as we can. So that's why we need to know what you want to do.
And I wanted to say, I appreciate Robin emailing me before and letting me know some things that she wanted to do. And so, yeah, keep communicating with us. Let me know. I love to hear from you guys. So,
yeah, for example, in the May newsletter, there was information about Dangberg Ranch, which is a ranch that the Cartwrights would have been friends with the Dangbergs, because that ranch, was built in 1850, around 1859. And so, that I'm sorry, there's not any fan fiction out there, but there may be soon about the Cartwrights and the Dangbergs getting together. So that's, if people, you can do it on your own because it's a public park, so you can go there. But if you want to go through with a guide or with a docent, I can arrange that, but I need to know if you're interested. So they usually do groups of about 8, but they can accommodate more if I know ahead of time and can, let them know that we'll be there on this day at this time. So again, my link to my email was in that article. So let me know what you're interested in. Okay. And again, if you have any questions, I put information on the hotels in the May's newsletter about that are available at the airport. There's not just the 2 hotels that are right across the street, essentially, from the airport, but there's one that's about 1.5 miles, 2 miles away, which is the Grand Sierra Resort Casino. And they have lots of things to do there, obviously, including, food, restaurants, the casino part, and they have the free shuttle to the airport, and it runs from like 5 in the morning to 11 at night. If your flight's getting after that, you could still, get over there by Uber or taxi or whatever, but they have the shuttle, and their rates are significantly less than the across the street hotels. So don't discount them just because they seem to be, oh, it's a big resort and it's, you know, it's 2 miles away instead of 1 mile away. But check them out and see what they have to offer, because it's might be worth it for you. Okay, any other questions? It's hard to know what you don't know, so I understand that, but whatever comes into your head, you know, like, hey, could do this? Or, you know, I want to ride horses, you know, can I do that? Yeah, you can. Do you want to go see the wild horses? That's something that we can, there's wild horses.
Highly recommend that.
So you want to do that? Lori wants to do that, definitely. But
Lori's
yeah,
seen them many times.
yeah. So, you know, we can have a, you know, especially if we go down to Genoa, because the Pine Nut Range is right across the valley from Carson. You've got the Sierras and you've got the Carson Valley, and then you got the Pine Nuts. So big band of horses up at Pine Nuts that we could go and search out. Okay. Awfully quiet group this morning. Did everybody get their coffee? Of course, it might be evening for some of you. But again, any questions at all? I need fodder for the next few newsletters, so I need to
I know.
tell me what you want to know.
How many have you actually gotten signed up? Have you mentioned that?
I think we're up to what was the latest number? 18?
17? 19? Okay.
So far. So.
Yeah.
So, and after each of these Zoom meetings and the newsletters going out, we get, you know, more people register. So a lot of people might be waiting on tax returns, you know, things like that, tax refunds, you know, to plan their, you know, their summer vacation schedule.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But so the deadline, if you do the 3 payments of 3, the second payment is due July, is it?
Mm-hmm. It was
And then the final payment, we have to have all monies in by August,
August 15th.
because we do have counts that we have to make sure we cover for the banquet, as well as we have to make sure, you know, so everybody can eat. Did you want to talk about the auction idea for the Friday?
Oh, that was the what I was thinking. Okay, so we wondered, since there's a lot of people that can't come that might be interested in some of the auction items, but we wanted to ask you who are coming, you know, what do you think about opening up the auction to non-attendees, you know, via the catalog, that they could, you know, bid on something or put a bid in on something? We don't know. I mean, we want to.
Well, I think the purpose is to raise the money, really, right?
Right.
So the more chances we have for that. And I think, you know, that people that aren't going to physically be there, I'd like to see them get a chance to bid, but they also would be more hesitant to bid because they can't, you know, touch it or whatever.
Yeah.
But something like, you know, the DVDs or something, I think people would be willing to bid, even if they weren't physically there.
But we wanted to check with you first, you know, the attendees, and how would you feel about that? We would have to give statistics of how that we'd make that happen, but we want to know your input, or have your input.
So if you're not comfortable saying something on here in front of everybody,
just
feel
again,
free to just
Lori,
email
me, Ginger,
me or direct, because we definitely want to hear everybody's input.
Anybody object to that idea?
Well, again, if they're too embarrassed to say, why would they?
They can
Not
let
too
me know.
Anybody too embarrassed to say?
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, just keep that in mind so we can get that, you know, get your feedback. Again, your feedback, this is your event. We want to make it special for you.
Yeah, let us emphasize that again. I mean, this is not a convention as per se what we've done in the past. This is literally was created and formed as a fan gathering. So we want everybody to have a really good, relaxing time. As we're putting this schedule together, we don't even know if we're going to have much time to watch many videos and things like that. So you know, a lot of this is sightseeing. A lot of this is if you don't want to do what's kind of, or just arranging things in case you want to go to things with a group, but don't feel that you have to. If you have your own vehicle or you have certain things that you want to do, certainly, you know, you are welcome to do those things. This is not, we're not prisoning, you know, it's not a prison or whatever. So again, we want this to be sure that it's fun for everybody. So whatever, you know, youth are thinking about doing, or if you, when you get to Carson City or Virginia City or even Lake Tahoe, what are the things that you would love to do? So, you know, letting us know helps us plan around that, because I'm sure you're not the only one who wants to do that. Maybe somebody's not brave enough to say something. So if we start putting it out there that we've already got X number of people that want to do whatever it is, then maybe you'll get a little braver and say, oh, I want to do that too. That sounds like fun. Sorry, Ellen, go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was, assuming, you know, maybe couple people didn't necessarily want to go somewhere one morning or one afternoon, if there would be a room available that we could just watch videos in. You just set aside a room.
Yeah.
There's only a
Mhm.
couple of you. I have a suite, so you know, everybody's welcome to do that. I just would have to check what the hookups kind of thing are, but I think mine has
Yeah.
like the bed and then has like a living room space with a little kitchenette or something. So
Yeah, and I have.
you know, if
I have
that's
a
something
room,
where we just want to use that as whatever central, we can certainly.
like a hospitality suite type thing.
Yeah,
Come and
but
do
that's a
that.
great idea, Ellen. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure we could come
We
up
had
with.
thought about a hospitality suite, and then we thought, well, if everybody, who's going to man it, you know, if most people are out doing things. So it's again logistical. We can make that, you know, come about. I have a portable DVD. Obviously, DVD players are portable, but I mean, I have one that we could, again, we'll find out how to hook it in. If I have to I have the cords, you know, to hook it into.
Yeah, if you should meet with them, just find out if they have the HDMI setup or if they have the, you know, which setup they have, because that's easy enough to do.
Yeah, I think
And
most
then
TVs now
Charlie Andy will let us tap into one of those wonderful DVD full set collections, so we'd have every possible episode that you could ever possibly want to see.
I've
Mhm.
got that. I've got that. So we
Right,
can,
Andy?
Yeah. What a great auction item.
yes. Yeah. A premium. Any other questions? Any other suggestions, ideas? We're wide open here.
And when we're at the hotel, Dee and I are on the same level, just down the hall from where the meeting room will be. And that's where if we get a chance to watch episodes, it'll be in the evenings. We'll be in the big room, but otherwise we'd have to do it in someone's room. Just want to clarify that.
So the banquet room, I mean, this is not a hall, you know what I mean? It's not a grand ballroom or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a small room, but it will accommodate. That's why we have to cut off the registrations at a certain a number of people, because the room can only accommodate 54, I think is the max. But we're kind of cutting off at 50. So we're hoping, you know, that we'll have 50 people. And but we only have that room because it is a room that's used for other things at the hotel. But we have it exclusively reserved for us from the afternoon, you know, through 10 o'clock, and we have to be out by 10 o'clock at night. So we can't watch.
So is that like 5 to 10 or 7 to 10?
Well, we have it before for our setup, to set up the auction, to set up the things that we need to do. Dinner is from 5 to 7, and then we'll be in that same room till 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So Andy's talking, and Jean Hibbins going to be bringing her guitar. So we'll have some entertainment, and we'll have some games and prizes and things like that. So prizes may be all kinds of different things.
So brush up on your trivia.
Yeah, brush up on your trivia. But watch those later seasons. There might be some later season questions there.
And
Okay,
can you get an autographed book from Tim Matheson?
Probably we buy one.
He was giving them away for Mother's Day.
Was he? Oh.
Yeah, you know, a limited
Why
number.
didn't you tell us? How are we supposed to know that?
Did you get one for us?
Did you get one for us?
No, I'm not a mother, so I couldn't even enter the competition.
Oh,
so-
it was a contest.
Yeah, well, it was put your name in and drawings or,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I
think
didn't
you
know
can
about
pay,
her.
like,
I
8
would have put my
copies.
name in. I've liked Tim Matheson since he was, I think, in Yours, Mine, and Ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did read his memoir. It was interesting. By the end, it was a little too much how I got screwed and how I screwed up, and it got a little bit tiresome, that part. And I didn't think he gave enough pages to Bonanza, but
Oh,
what can
so no, we don't want to put one of his memoirs.
No, but he was really honest about when he screwed up, so.
Yeah. Self-confessional or whatever.
Okay,
Take a note, Beth.
Stephen, did you want to talk?
Pardon?
Did you want to say
Oh,
something?
yeah, I wanted to mention the Virginia City Tourism Commission. We're still hoping we can put together Bonanza Days, and been working with Andy. And I don't know, Andy, do you want to address what you've proposed with the family letters and bringing the families to Virginia City?
Well, I think it was the Chamber of Commerce that had graciously and interestingly proposed extending an invitation to alumni's relatives to participate in a parade, and that certainly sounds interesting and enticing. So I had suggested making it a somewhat semi-formal invitation by way of letters addressed to various individuals, Dan Blocker's widow and Lauren Green's grandchildren, etc., telling them about this weekend and inviting them to participate. So hopefully that will entice some people to attend. I guess there's always the issue of compensation, and I think Steve and I were trying to get an idea from the commission whether there's any sort of money available for something like that. But it could be that that's not necessary. For example, I remember for the 1999 convention, Victor Sen Young's son Brett was able to attend, and his wife and his mom, Victor Sen Young's wife, came because I think she was traveling from San Francisco, and they used that weekend as an opportunity to have sort of an extended family reunion. So it's conceivable that something similar that might happen again for some people. But yeah, that was the thought. Although Dee pointed out something of interest, which I guess should be thrown out there for Steve to comment on if he can.
Sure. What weekend or when are you thinking of having? Is the chamber thinking of having Bonanza Days?
We were looking at Saturday, or it could be Friday.
When? I mean, what month? What day? I mean,
Depending on when you guys are here.
September. That's September.
The weekend that we're going to be there.
The weekend you're going to be there. Yeah.
The hill climb, and I did a little because I didn't know what the hill climb was necessarily. I thought it was a marathon or whatever. Turns out it's a timed rally car race, for the sponsored by the Ferrari Club of America. You don't have to have a Ferrari, but it is for high performance vehicles. It is all the twists and turns. It's a 5-mile route from the base down near where I live up the hill, twists and turns, and how fast can you do it? That's why it's a time trial, because you can't technically go more than about 35 miles an hour. But the road is closed all the way up to Virginia City.
Yeah, that's the truck route. Yeah, and it's closed, and they're just on the south end of town. They're not in town.
So the north, well, that was my question, or my thought was that the north end, the route coming in from the north is open.
No, they come in from the south end by the Fourth Ward School, and that's where it ends. And so they're not in town at all.
Or they aren't.
No.
Because we wondered, because it's the events that go from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. all day. And the time trials start at noon, both Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And, so I was just wondering how that was going to impact, because if there's no cars on the road going up.
Yeah, that's just on the truck route.
Oh, they're
340.
using the truck route,
340
not the main route?
No, 342 is up through Silver City and Gold Hill to
Yeah, I
Virginia.
know, I go, that's how I go up all the time, but there's
Yeah.
2 ways. You don't have the truck route until, well, a little way up, but they were also talking about all the twists and turns, and that's why I thought that maybe it was more of the local route.
Yeah, it won't interfere with
Using the
anything
truck route,
going on in
okay.
town.
Yeah.
So
we wondered how that was going to impact a train ride on Saturday, if they're going to be, on the roads. So C Street's going to be open. All the
yeah, and
streets-
it doesn't impact the train.
Okay,
Yeah. So
that helps us because we're trying to figure out whether we do the train on Friday or Saturday.
yeah.
So no need to be a gloomy Gus, in other words.
That
Yeah.
helps having our schedule open a little bit more.
That's an obscure.
And being locked into doing something, you have to do it this day, or you can't do it. So that helps us.
But as soon as we know would be really helpful, because that's when I would like to get with the
Yeah,
train and do the group tickets. And that's why I suggested Friday versus Saturday, because I
Friday.
knew this was going on. So
Yeah.
Friday would work. And if you're all coming up on the train, we've got shuttle buses that'll pick you up at the train and bring you up to C Street. And then when you're ready, the shuttle bus will take you back down
okay.
to the train.
Terrific.
Lori, say again why you think Friday is preferable to Saturday.
Just because I know this race was going to be going on, and I know that if we're coming from Carson City, the 541 or the going up that 341, going up that way from Carson City is just much easier to get to Virginia City. So
Well, 341 actually splits off at Silver City, and then you can just go 342 up through Silver City and Gold Hill. You don't have to take the truck route.
Yeah,
okay.
I usually don't take it up. I usually take 340.
So we can still take that the way we go usually.
Absolutely, yeah.
So in other words, your concern is traffic conditions.
Yes.
And I'm concerned, if you want to call it concern, that people who are traveling from other parts of the country might be more settled in and acclimated to do something on a Saturday rather than a Friday, which might still involve travel. Thinking specifically about relatives of cast members
Mm-hmm.
and David Dortort's son, things like that, if they're willing to attend.
Yeah, Saturday would be the best option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know when we'll know if Bonanza days are going to happen?
Well, Andy and I are working on that. So
You'll be
hopefully,
the first to know. Maybe the second. But yes.
Who wants to know?
Newsletter deadline, we have to have.
So D will be
Well-
the first to know, then Lori will be the second.
I would like to know.
Yes, you should.
Inquiring minds, yes, we're all inquiring minds.
So would I.
I do know that Michael Landon Jr. that weekend, it will be in Vancouver at probably his other event. So
What's that?
the When Calls the Heart, they have they invite people up and they draw names, and then you get to go up and see the set. And so I'm sure he will be up there. So there's one family member.
Well, Vancouver's kind of sort of in the neighborhood, isn't it?
My neighborhood, not yours. But yeah. Yep.
Okay, any other questions? Feedback? Okay. We're working in a vacuum, I guess. We'll do our best to anticipate what your needs and questions are. But again, please don't hesitate to reach out to Ginger,
Yeah.
Lori, or me. and let us know exactly what your thoughts are, what your interest is. We'll try to make it happen for you.
All right, Josie, make note of Stacy's email that's in the chat. She's the one that lives in San Francisco, so if you still want to, and where's Stacy? Stacy, wave your hand. There's Stacy there. So if you're still looking for a ride, somebody to ride with, although it sounded like you might be there super early, so I don't know if that'll work or not, but.
On Sunday or Monday, I'm there.
And so,
I
you're
arrive
no?
early, yes. My flight is on
Right.
Sunday.
The 7th. Yeah.
Yeah.
The week before.
Yeah, before, yes. Not after.
Well, I know, that's what I was like, well, you'll miss most of it if you get there on.
No. I'm training for it. I'm going to the gym twice a week.
You.
Yeah, for walking. I have a new knee, so it's difficult to walk. So I'm training 2 times a week in the gym, so I can do all the stuff you said. The train, the Dixie. I want to do all.
Oh, good.
Well, that's something that I wanted to mention, and I haven't put it in the newsletter yet, but I
Mhm.
will. The sidewalks are pretty much plank, like old fashioned, wooden sidewalks, and they're uneven, and they go up and down. I mean, because it's hill, whatever. But we're gonna wear sturdy shoes. And sorry, you want to wear sturdy shoes. You want to, be careful. You need a walking stick or, whatever, just be very safety conscious. We don't want anybody stepping wrong and falling. But it is uneven pavement or uneven planks.
On
Wooden
that
side-
note, Dee, and maybe keep in mind too, or people that have been there as well, maybe suggestions for what to wear. Like, obviously comfortable shoes and
Mhm.
the weather. It's one of those deals that it's warm during the
Yeah.
day, but it gets cool at night. So you're going to want to make
Windy.
a layer, and
It's also weather.
it could snow. It's
It
possible it
could
could
snow.
rain. It's possible.
It could rain, it could snow, it could be really hot, it could be, if you're in the daytime and then cool at night. But yes, I will put clothing, and
That's
what
a
to pack,
good, yeah.
what to pack in the next newsletter.
And plan on wind at least one of the days. It's always windy
Oh,
there.
Yes, Zephyr
Yeah.
winds.
Yes.
Winds are
Something
all
with a
around,
hood.
A thing on it.
and
it's
they've been
Dry. Bring
after-
chapstick.
I was gonna-
Lotion.
Where's my writers? What's that little thing called that keeps your hat on?
Yeah, you want to strap on your hat, that's for sure. It's gonna blow away. No, and hat pin won't do it. But
Yeah.
yes, Zephyr winds, it's been very windy, especially this year. Yesterday, I was out for the day before. I went for a walk and I had to turn around because it was 45-mile-an-hour winds. And even though it was a beautiful day, it was 45-mile-an-hour winds. And I was walking sideways. And I went, probably not a good idea.
Somebody's telling you don't need to walk today. That's what.
Yeah, right.
I think they closed the airport in Reno this last week for a day or
Probably
part
with
of a
those
day.
winds. Because
Yeah.
it's coming, when you come into Reno, you've got crosswinds anyway because of the mountains. And I have flown in where I really felt like the plane was moving more side to side than it was advancing forward. But it's always been, pilots are great, they're used to it, and safe landings all around.
And for those who may have not ever flown into the Reno Tahoe airport, it's a very not small, but it's a great sized airport. It's very easy to get around in. You just go down the stairs. There's like one main lobby, and the car rental places are right there, right across from
Right by
baggage
claim.
area, and then you just go across the street, and that's where you would pick up your rental car. So it's very easy to maneuver around, and then you pretty much just pull out and get right on. Is it 395?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
easiest airport ingress and egress that I've ever visited as my travels, because you come out of the parking lot and you just immediately can get on the freeway.
And really only one place if we're to pick you up where you would go. It's very, there isn't 3 or 4 different places. I mean, I guess unless you go where the casinos are, or whatever, the other shuttles kind of thing. But if like we're picking you up, we'll be very clear where that that is to,
Right.
to
All the shuttles pick up at right outside baggage claim.
yeah, and as we get closer, we'll, you know, if people are local, we can get, you know, or are from the US, obviously, we can get your cell phone numbers and things like that. So there's
Right.
texting going on if
And I can put an airport
we
map.
will leave
in
you
the-
anywhere. Be as fun and user friendly as possible for everybody. You're going to be in one of the most beautiful places on the planet. So, yay! Right.
As
So,
you can tell by the background behind Robin is the Lake Tahoe. Looks like Sand Harbor kind of in there, yes. And I have Bourne Meadow where they rode up and my background. And I don't, what do you have, Ginger?
it's just a version of a lake that I did for our website. It's not anywhere but mountains and lake.
So,
It's
and I have
anywhere
been
I want it to be.
I have been including, because some people on the initial questionnaires and said they really wanted to see locations where the show was filmed and things like that. So I've been taking information from Ponderosa Scenery and I'm plugging that into the newsletter too and trying to include different locations that you could easily travel to on your own, like Denell Vista, you know, if you wanted to make a drive before or after the event. To there, you know, some of the shows, the Lord is My Shepherd from Little House on the Prairie and Forever were filmed up there at Denell Vista. And it's gorgeous. It was a great little road trip if you want to do that. So I've been trying to include different spots and refer to the episodes that were filmed or at least mentioned. Maybe not a lot of filming went on, but, you know, a few scenes here or there. And you'll be the expert on that. You'll know all and see all, right? And tell and give me some hints. And I'll try to map it out for you so you can see it. Probably now, 65 years later, it may not look anything like it looked when it was filmed originally. But certainly there's spots like where the MS Dixie is and, you know, for the showdown at Tahoe, you know, where they did some filming, Sand Harbor filming, things like that. So trying to include that for those that are interested. Anybody else have any questions? If not, I think we can probably get done under our appointed hour.
So just to quickly recap, so I'll be posting the newsletters thus far on the website as well as on the Bonanza Conventions Facebook page. If you haven't joined that yet, or if you're on Facebook, just like the page and then you should get notifications when I post stuff. And then the website is just bonanzaconventionsonline.com, which has the information as well as it has all the links to the past Zooms as well as this one. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, and you don't feel comfortable saying in front of the group, feel free to email Dee and Lori directly. They're happy to answer any questions. Be sure when you read the newsletters, if there's any place on that Dee is highlighting that you would be interested in seeing. We're going to try and get this new poll of places that you guys want to visit or see or do while you're there at our fan event. I'm trying to get that out by the 1st of June. Like that should be by at least a preliminary one so we can get the ball rolling so you guys can start putting your thinking caps on. If it seems like we've missed a lot of people, then obviously we'll probably put out another one at the beginning of July that's more pared down if we start actually picking a day that we're going to do the train ride or pick a day to do the MS Dixie and things like that so you can make your plans better.
And
yeah.
Specific information will go to registrants only. So, you know.
That's true too. So if you haven't registered, please do. There's two options. You can pay the whole full amount, which is 150, or you can do it in thirds. Although I think now it's probably 150. Is it, or is it still? Can you do a third? I guess we're still in June, so you could still do the 50, and then you'd pay the second one, I think, in July, and then you'd pay the final payment in August. So that helps us because once you register, it takes you to an actual registration form that helps us as far as dietary needs and if you're going to have a car and just kind of things like that. If it's something where you do have a special financial situation, just contact them because it would be more helpful for us if you can fill out a registration form just so we can note certain things. So that's also, don't be afraid to just do that. Just any questions, any concerns, whatever, seriously, just contact these guys. They're happy to help you out. That's what we're all here for, because we want to make sure that you have a good time. Gary.
Yeah. So just you were talking about registration there, and I just kind of want to make sure because when I registered, I tried to register both Skip and I at the same time, and the form didn't allow that. And I just wanted to make sure that, I mean, I think it's been squared away, but I wanted to make sure that Skip is also on the email list, which he said he did get a couple of emails, but I don't know that he's gotten all of them.
You want to make sure Skip hasn't been skipped, in other words.
Indeed, yes. So that would be
I do a
that.
skip trace.
That's
Pardon me?
actually an excellent state, Gary, because there's a couple people that have done that. If you're paying for 2 people, go ahead and fill out the registration for yourself, but then email one of us, because then we can add what we did with your situation, Gary, because they came back and asked you some questions about Skip.
Yeah.
We just added his own line and got his email and all that. So, and I think Robin, we did that with you as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Register for 2 and
Okay.
a couple people. So yeah, we're very aware as far as when we see the amount, but as far as a rule of thumb, you did it right in the sense of just just going ahead and paying the fee for both and then filling the form out for you and then just letting us know. I can see it when it comes through and know if we need the second person's information. So we'll definitely get in touch with you and make sure that we have both people's information. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
And then just listening to what everybody's saying here, I guess I'm quiet because I'll be waiting to see what you all kind of come up with regards to what others are interested in and putting it, and that will kind of dictate, how I want to fit in what else that I want to do. My primary thing would be to take advantage of anything that the group does as far as the banquets and that stuff. I am interested in the Dixie because I haven't done that. So because I've only been down to Tahoe once, so this will be my second time. The other objective and I've been to the Bowers Mansion, but not inside, so I want to go there because it was like foot deep of snow when we were there. So so I was able to get a picture, but I wasn't able to go inside. It was closed. I guess the objective just for me would be that I would want to go or take advantage of as many location scenes that we can take in around the Tahoe area. I know there's a limited amount of time. The other the other objective for me, and it might be me alone, is that I really kind of would like to talk to Bill Watson and see if he's got any extra saddles from the ranch that would have the branding logo on the saddles. And so if I could connect with him or stop by the Thunderbird or something like that, I would be personally interested in doing that. And other than that, I think probably Skip will be driving because he likes to drive. I don't know that he
Only
likes
12
the way I
hours.
drive. What?
It's only 12
So,
hours.
yeah, so he's going to and in that case, if he drives, then we'll take his truck and we won't have a lot of extra room for other people. If I drive, that would change. So I don't know how we're going to work. I don't know what's going to happen with regards to that so far. But
Well, that's
anyway, other than that and meeting some of the people that I haven't met in person, that'd be great. And seeing the people that I already do know. So that'll be fun.
great,
Thanks.
Gary. In fact, that's a really good suggestion, Ginger, on the form, to say maybe a line for what's your objective? What do you, in being here, or what is it you really want to do? If it's something like, that may not be, that we've not mentioned before, because maybe we just hadn't considered it. So it might be germane to other people as well. So could you include something like that?
Yeah, do you want me to just put like, what is the one thing you really want to do, or just put what is your,
Yeah, something like that.
okay.
Focus, people, focus.
What are your objectives?
Yeah. That's why I like that word.
Focus or objectives?
Your
Focus / objective. Yeah, covers all bases.
True.
okay. Running out of space writing all this. No, I'm just kidding.
Gary, can I ask you, do you know if Skip got the email from yesterday? I did have one that's a Skip at something that came back to me. But I did not have yesterday's come back to me.
Okay, I don't know. I'll have to ask him. I will see him
Okay.
this afternoon because it's his birthday. So there's a little party for him this afternoon. But I will ask him. I didn't get the newsletter that came out most recently until last night.
Yeah.
And so if it came out earlier, I didn't get it, but I got it last night. And so I can ask him if he got it today.
Okay.
And he was going to try to join in on this meeting today, but he's kind of recovering from surgery. So
Okay.
he's been having he's been really tired. So
Well, these
anyway,
are recorded, so he can always
yeah,
watch
he
them later.
can look at them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wish him happy birthday for us from his
Yeah.
millions of fans, friends,
okay.
and hope he's feeling better soon.
All right. Thank you.
And just one last note. So originally we had scheduled next month's meeting for the Saturday, the 21st. It's actually going to be Saturday, the 28th. So if you had made that a note originally, it's been updated on the webpage, on the Zoom page, but just make a note yourself that it'll actually be Saturday, the 28th of June.
How come we changed it?
Because I will be flying back from Vermont, so
That's a good reason.
won't be available. Not that you all aren't capable of carrying on without me, which is
One more thing, before we do leave, whenever that is, have to say happy birthday to Purnell for his birthday tomorrow.
Yes, coming up. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
We've got
Robin.
some fun events happening on
97.
97. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Dee? There's some
I
events.
said we have some fun events on Bonanza brand for Purnell's birthday.
Mhm.
And if you're a Trapper John fan, we do have a group that we show an episode of a Trapper John remaster Sunday at 2 that has a little chat along with it that premieres live at 2 o'clock on one of my YouTube channels.
Having a
It does have some German subtitles in it, just because the US versions that are online are missing about 5 minutes just for the
commercial.
That's interesting.
But the Germans have nice clean versions, so they've been re-edited with sections with German for the sections, which is but anyway. All right.
Birthday
Anything
chat
else?
Sunday night on brand for Purnell.
And Andy, I'll have a draft letter to you hopefully by tomorrow.
Monday.
To send out, or Monday. I keep forgetting. I think this is Sunday. It's Saturday. So I have a draft letter for you to go over
Sure.
Monday.
And I'll review it and give you my 2 cents ASAP after.
Yeah. Much appreciated. So.
All right.
Good
Well,
to see everyone. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Andy, can you stay on a second and stay on a second?
That's not up to me.
Well, Ginger and Andy.
Sure.
All All
Have a
right.
good week.
Well, that's
Have a
it.
good
We'll
week,
see
everyone.
everybody. Have a good month. Again, any questions, comments, concerns, be sure to email Lori, Dee, myself, and thank you for being here. And if you
Thank
haven't
you for being
registered,
here.
register
Bye.
See you next week, Stacy.
next month. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.